Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to talk about the 60s. 60s Doctor Who, and we're going to talk about if more stories get cut down and colorized like the Daleks did here. We got the cut down colorized version of the Daleks last year, which I very much enjoyed and much prefer over the original version, mainly just for the cut down editing length, because the original Daleks is a slog to get through. I want to know if you could pick one First Doctor story and one Second Doctor story to get this treatment, the cut down, colorized, perhaps new music, makeover, for lack of a better word. Which one would you pick and why? For the First Doctor, I would say the Dalek Invasion of Earth. I think it's a nice follow-up to the Daleks. They make great companion pieces together. I do think there are parts of the Dalek Invasion of Earth that could be trimmed down. I think it fills out its runtime better. It runs really well at 6 parts. I know they would trim parts out, and there's spots there you could trim out. But I think that story would look really good in color. I mean, it looks nice in black and white, but I really think it would look good in color. I think it's a good outing for the Daleks. It's a great goodbye to Susan, and seeing Hartnell deliver his famous speech at the end in color would just be awesome. I just would really like that one in color. The Dalek Invasion of Earth is my favorite Hartnell Dalek story. One of my favorite Dalek stories from the 60s, probably after Power and Evil. And I really think it would look good in color, as long as they didn't get too carried away with doing new music. Some of the new music in the Daleks that we got is good, some of it's not. So they need to really kind of make the music fit the cut down. For the Second Doctor, I would say The Seeds of Death. Having recently rewatched The Seeds of Death within the past few months, I did enjoy my rewatch of it. And I just think it would work in color. I think there's a lot of areas there where the colors would really make it pop. Even the green and just the Ice Warriors themselves, I think, would help. But just as I was watching that story, I was sitting here thinking, this would look really good in color. See, there's a lot of stories I don't think would work in color, like The Mine Robber. I would never want to see The Mine Robber in color. Same thing with Tomb of the Cybermen. I like both of those stories in black and white. I think they need to stay in black and white. I don't have any interest in seeing them in color. But The Seeds of Death, as I was watching it, I was thinking to myself, I would like to see this in color. And there's also parts in The Seeds of Death which could use some trimming. You could trim it down a bit. I'm not saying you have to cut it down to 75 minutes, but there's definitely room for some trimming there. And, yeah, I was just really blown away by, as I was watching it, how I would picture the way the scenes would look in my head if they were in color. And that really worked with me. It really settled well with me. I was like, okay, if there's a Troughton story I could get in color, I'd probably want it to be this one, The Seeds of Death, more than any of the others. There's some other stories that would work well for. I think Enemy of the World would be an excellent choice, for example, to do as a cut down in color. But my vote would be Seeds of Death. So those would be the two I would pick for the next 2 stories I would like to see cut down in color. In the vein of the Daleks would be the Dalek Invasion of Earth for the First Doctor and The Seeds of Death for the Second Doctor. I want to know what you think of my choices if you're interested in seeing those versions, colorized versions of those stories, or what stories you would pick if you could pick one story from the First Doctor and one story from the Second Doctor to get that cut down colorized treatment. Comment down below and let's talk about it. Don't forget to click the like button, the subscribe button as well. I also have a link to my Patreon down there if you would like to support me on that. I want to give a shout out to a couple of my top tier patrons, Sam Venning and Colin Coney. I appreciate their support as I do the support of all of my patrons. It's very much appreciated. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review, which is actually how I got my copy of the Daleks right here in color. One of my patrons sent it to me, which I very much appreciate. I also have a P.O. box. Well, I think I mentioned the P.O. box, yes. I also have a link to my Amazon wish list and my Amazon UK wish list down there as well. I update those regularly. Most importantly, thank you for watching.